All right, welcome to Chargers Unleashed and LA Football Network here live from Radio Row. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Brian Baldinger here with us. Brian, thanks for joining. How are you?
Well, that was a good introduction. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Well, you make us look better. We want to talk to you all things Chargers, Jim Harbaugh. We'll talk about how this team fits now with this new team. But first, instant reaction. What did you think when the Chargers were thinking of Jim Harbaugh and they actually landed Jim Harbaugh?
I thought it was the best hire of not just this offseason, but of the last couple seasons. Like, there's very few people that have a track record in the history of this game like Jim Harbaugh. Bill Parcells did, but very few have had the instant impact that Jim brings and his style and what he brings to a team and to an organization. He said it last week in his press conference, and I believed every word he said.
You believed every word? Multiple championships? That's what he's going to bring in?
Yeah, I believe that's what he's all about. And you look, I mean, a lot of owners will say that, coaches, multiple, and can you really do that? Well, Andy has done that in Kansas City, and somebody's got to take down the Chiefs, and so you better have Sean Payton's trying to do it in Denver, and they keep juggling the pieces around the teams in the AFC West, but I think the Chargers now have the leadership and the vision they need in order to go make that charge.
So they got the number 5 pick in the draft. Your offensive lineman, do you think they go offensive lineman there, or do they go somewhere else?
Well, I mean, they're going to he'll know the draft. He'll know the draft cold. Oh. But this is the best offensive tackle draft we've seen in a long time. There's no less than 8 prospects that could be taken in the first round. Now, that doesn't mean anything. You got to get the right one. Rashawn Slater was the right one. But I think they have a variety of ways they can go. So I don't know what it is right now, but it's a great draft for running backs.
Now, Jesse Minter comes from Michigan. Mm-hmm. You get Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator. How do those two pieces fit with this Chargers team? How does Greg Roman help support Justin Herbert? And how does Jesse Minter help elevate the defense?
Well, I mean, Greg's been with them. Been with them in Stanford, been with them in San Francisco. He's a proven coordinator. Like, he just wants people that know what he's about around him. Surround yourself with people that know what you do every day and how to do it. Like, you don't have to teach these guys. You don't have to teach them a system. Jesse knows what he wants. They've got, I don't know, no less than 15 players on that Michigan team that are going to get drafted. Like, you might see a whole bunch of them, come from Michigan to the Chargers. But he knows what he wants, and those coaches know what he wants, and they're not going to be backstabbing him, trying to get a head job. They're there to support Jim.
Now, how do you think this Chargers team is going to look? Like, if you looked at it optics-wise on the field, the last 3 years under Brandon Staley, Tom Telesco, this new regime with Joe Ortiz, and you got Jim Harbaugh. What does a team look like with Justin Herbert with the new characters?
Well, they're not going to be soft, and they're not going to, be missing tackles, every single Sunday like they have for the last 3 years. It's been embarrassing. So I think that will stop, period.
Okay, now last question for you. What is the ceiling for the Chargers this year? Everyone talks about, you heard Joe Ortiz, the GM, talk about they're not giving away any season. They're looking to win every season, build championship culture and pedigree. What do you see from them this year as they kind of rebuild?
Well, I think they're a playoff team right away. And so I think 11 wins is on the table. I think less than 11 wins would be disappointing for a Jim Harbaugh team.
And we got to get your prediction. Who's got the edge in the big game?
Well, I mean, how does Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs how are they not the favorites? I just saw them go take down Miami, Buffalo, and Baltimore. Like, they got one more to take down. And I love San Francisco. And, yes, they can win the game, but I'm not going to go against Patrick Mahomes and Steve Spagnuolo.
You cannot bet against the one Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. That duo is insane. Last thing, as we get you out of here, Brian, if you were Jim Harbaugh, how do you fix the team this offseason? What's your top 3 needs, top 3 ways that they make the team
they got to
better?
be able to run the ball. Number one, they haven't run the ball well at all in the last 3 years. So they got to run the ball, and how you do that is how you do that. I don't know if Blake Corum is coming, who knows. But, you got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to tackle. So you got to work on tackling. You got to practice tackling. You got to talk about it. And you got to take the ball away. I mean, those things have to if you're going to take down the Chiefs, those 3 things have to happen.
Brian Baldinger, thank you so much for joining us. This has been so much fun.
Thanks.
Best of luck the rest of the week. What do you got going on the rest of the week?
It's just football. It's football. But, I'm going to see you two on Friday night and go over to Max Crosby's house and do some podcast or something.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Brian, thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure, man. Thanks, guys.